Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Somebody give me a sound check, mic check, video check. Let me know everything is good. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Everybody is good. I'm watching everything. I'm watching all the screens. Market's opening up. Pop on the buy. We could take this trade. Hang on a second. Take this trade in S&P. Big move. 4, 3, 2, 1. Buy market. All right. We're chasing this trade. Let's see if it works. 804 is a target here. Big move. Let's see if it hits the 804. There we go. And we're done on the first trade of the day. Nice clean trade. I could have done the NASDAQ as well, but I just wanted to focus on the S&P today with you guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Everybody good? It's actually not. It's 9:15. I got all excited. I thought it was 9:30 on the pop. So it's 9:15 on the pop. All right, we probably now we'll try to chill out until the market opens. No more trades to go with. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We'll let everybody crawl into the room. I got a lot of really cool stuff to share with you. A very, I think, intelligent way of using the scalper to, target $1,000 a day, target $750 a day in a very, very time-defined manner. What I mean by this is like the approach that I take can be really, really great if you have all the time in the world and just want to bang away at the screens for 8-9 hours a day. Which there are definitely people in the room who love to do this, and it's awesome. And it's a lot of fun, and it essentially presents you every single day between 20 and 30 possible profitable opportunities to extract points out of the market, right? Which is great for somebody who just wants to kind of trade continuously, whether it's your hobby, or you have lots of time, or you really want to focus and do this on multiple accounts, across multiple levels to try to use lots of funding, lots of other people's funding to succeed. So that's great, but that's literally probably 10% of the population, because the rest of you, unlike us, actually have real lives, including me. I have a real life, and I find myself utterly unable to, much as I would love to, I sometimes actually, like what I really try to do is actually say, okay, today it's just going to be scalping day. No more bullshit. No more dealing with 1,000 things at BK. No more having Kathy bother me with 1 million marketing stuff. I'm just going to really want to trade, right? Never happens that way because life interferes. It's kind of like, you like playing tennis or you like playing golf. You want to just play it all the time, right? But unfortunately, life doesn't allow us that. So for the rest of us who really enjoy the game, but have other obligations in life, my thought was that we could truncate the whole scalping structure into what I call 3 trades per day. And it doesn't have to be 3 trades per day, but it's just kind of an easy formula. In American baseball, the term is 3 strikes and you're out. For those of you who are not familiar with American baseball, if a batter faces a pitcher and he misses the ball 3 times under various conditions, he's out, right? So I thought of like, this is kind of the flip side of the American baseball, which is 3 strikes and you're in, meaning that you hit 3 great trades, you're done for the day. And this is obviously most viable on an account like Apex, where I'm trading. And by the way, let me just put in some links while we start. You guys want to make sure you got to get the Apex account. You're trading a $250,000 account, right, on Apex, and a $250 trade is well within the parameters of the account. So something like 5 S&Ps, 1 point, $250. You hit 3 of those, that's $750. It's very reasonable to try to hit 3 of those within the first hour, the first hour and a half, let's say 90 minutes of trade, and you're done. You're done for the day. Same thing, by the way, in terms of NASDAQ. You don't have to. I mean, if you go 5 NASDAQ, that's it's actually really a lot. That's $1,000 per trade. So that's 3,000 on NASDAQ. That's a very, very large risk. You're risking 3,000 on the drawdown. But if you are doing something more reasonable, like 3 contracts, right? It's $300 per trade, 3 trades, $900. You're done on NASDAQ. Same idea. I do a lot of trades with you in the room because I want to show lots of examples so that you can learn how to do the examples. Like I showed you, for example, this is the classic trade we make is we have a buy label. The trade is above the long-term moving average, so we're buy biased. It goes into the first green zone, red zone, green zone. We're long here, boom, classic trade. We make the money, right? A little bit prior to this, before the market started up, I also, same idea. It was a buy label. You went long here into the green zone. It kind of retraced against me, but I was able to extract, the 1 point here, right? So this is what we call the follow-on trade, meaning that the trade isn't happening at the buy label. The buy label is a setup signal. The actual signal happens in the next green wave to the upside, next red wave to the downside, right? Let me know if that's clear to everybody, and if everybody is really clear. Give me a couple of yeses, give me a couple of nos, give me a couple of questions. Hit me up. We got 15 minutes before the market opens, so we're not going to do much. I'm watching gold and the Dow from my other screen, and I can easily tell you that, for example, if we go into the Dow also had classic buy signals. The setup signal here, long here, +5. Setup signal here, long here, +5. Now, for those of you who are trading the Dow, it has the positive and the negative of that product is the following. The positive is it's literally the smallest risk around. If you're doing 1 contract with the kind of parameters that I have, it's a $25 win, $75 loss. Very, very small. It's actually an excellent product to practice on, because if you want to practice your timing, practice your setup, this is the one that I would suggest you practice on. It offers lots and lots of clear opportunities during the day. But that's also its drawback. It's actually very, very small profits and targets. Now, if you wanted to go 10 large, that's okay. But the Dow just doesn't, you're not going to get perfect fills. So if you're coming in, 10 large, it means $250 profit, $750 risk. You will get slippage, right? You will get slippage. You'll get slippage. On the exit, you'll be okay. I think most of the time you'll get swept up off the offer. On the entry, you're probably going to have to swallow 1 or 2 points higher. So in other words, if you wanted to enter 42,360, your blended execution may be 362. On a 10 lot, because it's only going to be five on the offer, 6 on the offer. So that's sort of like the disadvantage of the Dow, which is why we don't trade it. Now, for those of you who are not U.S. customers, or even for those of you who are U.S. customers but don't like to trade the S&P, as I said to you, our new partner, Think Capital, is really, really cool. It trades CFDs. I'm just setting up my CFD account with them, and in the CFD land, you absolutely can trade all you want on the US30, which is the Dow. That's the most liquid product in CFD land. So I'll definitely be doing US30 trades in the CFD version of this starting next week. And the cool thing is, we just discovered is, by the way, Think Capital, and let me just put in the link for Think if you guys are interested. It actually allows you to trade from TradingView as well. So you can apply my scalp indicator to the CFD product just as easily as you can apply it to the futures product and be able to find the signals and trade those signals on Think, which is really, really exciting news that we discovered yesterday, which is really cool. So that's basically it as far as logistics go. Any questions? Come hit me. Let me know what you guys are thinking. What are you guys trading today? Did you guys having a good day? And I want to talk to you about like yesterday at how good the trading could have been at the end of the day. I'm going to show you the perfect, what I call the perfect BK scalper environment. Just one second. So let's look at NASDAQ. Okay, let's look at NASDAQ. I want to take you to yesterday. Okay, close of the day, like 1400 hours, right? 1400 hours, the market starts to build up, which we often see now. We all know that we see this all the time. The market either builds an uptrend or a downtrend on the close of the day, right? The last hour and a half, we have generally some kind of a consensus view, and that consensus view translates into continuation. And we are all about continuation, right? We're all about continuation. So first and foremost, I just want you to look at what I consider the absolute perfect visual structure for the BK scalper setup, right? And what that is price persistently trading. This is the upside structure. The downside is just the exact inverse. Persistently trading above the long-term line and persistently making higher highs. Like, this trend slice is just made to make us money. And the reason why it's made to make us money is because, once you start out in this trend slice, let me just sort of show you. Here's the buy signal, you're long here +5. Here's the buy signal, you're long here +5. Here's the buy signal, you're long here +5. Okay? All of those trades. And after that, by the way, you want to stop. This is the other thing that I kind of really, really wanted to reinforce to everybody. That yes, the trends can go on sometimes for 5, 6, 7 buy labels, but they can also end very abruptly. And the absolute highest probability is the first 3 labels. Now, in this case, this is what you're looking at here is a kind of a buy label, but the price hasn't quite cleared. But once it's cleared, you're basically looking for the setup. You're looking for that, for that dominant setup. You're long here. I actually traded this trade. I think, maybe I actually traded a little bit earlier trade, but you can trade this continuation. So whether it's the end of the day or kind of like nice. Not like yesterday, the only problem we had yesterday, we didn't even have a problem, but the only kind of a weird thing we had yesterday is we had such a massive wave to the upside at the beginning of the day that the follow-on trade barely made it. Like, it just kind of died out. Now, this first follow trade actually did make it, but it barely made it. Then we talked about the idea of the second follow-on trade, which would be like right over here. That definitely made it nicely. And then after that, there was no more. You kind of just exhausted. You had this huge move. But 2 trades in NASDAQ would have given you nice, clean moves. As long as you sort of have a clean, clear persistence above or below trend, you're able to extract very, very clean, clear trades in all of our setups, right? Now, what time is it? 9:30. Market opening up. Now we're crashing to the bottom. And let's actually watch this because I'm curious. So what's going on here? I'm also watching Dow. Dow just crashed through its 200 period SMA. NASDAQ kind of holding barely. S&P crashed through it. So lots of possible scenarios in front of us. And the good thing is that we simply wait and let it unfold. How do I get those buy and sell signals on my chart? Gadget, you have to join our group to get my private BK scalper indicator. It's a proprietary indicator that I wrote myself. I just sent the link in here. So if you want to join me for a month, you can join me for a month. You'll be happy to get this. If you want to join me for coaching and get a much better deal and have like a full three month coaching, I just put in my coaching link. So Either way, it's super easy to experience the structure and to understand the setup. Just join us. I'll be happy to share this with you, and you'll get all you get all the structures. And I follow my indicator the way everybody else follows my indicator. I just let it write my script because that's what it's designed to kind of extract signal from the noise and give you the highest probability scenarios for success, right? So okay, now let's look what's going on here. We are negative sell, meaning that we're underneath the black line, which is the large trend. We now have a sell label. So, well, we'll see. We'll have to see. This is the other great thing about the indicator is it's only a signal if it completes the candle. So, like a lot of times we see the market, testing signals, but it's not really giving it to us. Right now, as I'm watching this, nothing is setting up. There's no sell signals at all in any of the instruments. Even the Dow, which is off charts right now, does not setting up. So we'll see how that goes. I want to do something fun here for a second. Wonder if I can do this. Just bear with me a sec. New logo. Let me know if you guys like it. Make it a little bigger. Tell me. I know it's a little small because I don't have the full screen on here, but kind of fun. Let me know if you like it. Everybody knows what BFF stands for, right? It stands for be freaking focused, which is what we're trying to be now. So speaking of focus, I have a sell label in NASDAQ, right? Big retrace against it, by the way, just kind of let you know. And what I'm looking for right now is a green zone and a red zone for the market to come back up into the green zone and then come back and reestablish a sell parameter if I want to create any kind of a trade condition for myself, right? Right now, no trade conditions, not even a sell label in the S&P. So guys, if you're posting in Discord right now, please stop. Just stop. Come post in YouTube. Okay, I'm in YouTube. I'm gonna ignore you. So you want to talk to me? Post in this. Yeah, everybody says they prefer degenerate. I know, but the boss nixed the idea because she thinks it creates it. Mom said it creates bad habits, so we're not allowed to use the word degenerate. So we have to use unstoppable, which I actually that was actually pretty. That does kind of capture the ethos. Yeah, well, I'm just being polite. That's what it stands for. Be fucking focused. That's exactly it. But I'm just trying to be polite. But still pretty cool, right? You guys like it? I like the logo. All right, so starting to reestablish sells. We were buying on pre-open, kind of starting to look like a sell on the open. Nothing much really going on. 5,800 is the ceiling for S&P right now. And yeah, by the way, everybody, let you guys know, tomorrow is really, really cool day. We're going to trade the CPI live with Kathy, which would be really cool. I think tomorrow I may be able to configure the Think Capital account, and I may be able to trade the Think Capital account tomorrow on the CFD front, just for the pace, like once a day. Okay, so sell label on the S&P, sell label on NASDAQ. What we're watching for is a move into the green zone and a move into the red zone, meaning that want a little bit of a retrace, wants a little bit of short covering, and then if they indeed reestablish the downward trend, we're going to trade that downward trend. I actually gotta let me set up my whole TradeAvate account here because it's on the side here. Okay. All right. Where are you guys? Logo is nice. Everybody's nice. Okay. You know what? Why don't we do a poll? Start a poll. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do this just to piss her off. What's better? Degenerate? Unstoppable. By the way, how weird is it that unstoppable is with two P's? I went to look that up 3 times. All right, let me know what you guys vote for, what you guys vote on this. But the boss nixed the idea because she doesn't want me teaching bad habits. Oh, that's a good Hawkeye. That's a good idea. I got to look that up. I didn't know I had that functionality in PineScript where you could change the color unless if the candle sets up. But it doesn't. It really doesn't matter because the beauty of the setup as we have it right now is the buy sell is like a warning sign, and I love the fact that it's a warning sign because you need to. The setups happen so fast on the 1-minute chart that you need to be both physically and mentally kind of prepared. And if you just have the signal popping up and you got to react to it really, really fast, it very often sort of goes against you. Okay, we had a tiny, tiny little green zone over here, and now we're going into the red zone. We have 25 seconds left. I'm going to be trading the S&P right now. If it, this is a big if it goes back into the red zone. So far, the green so far we're kind of retracing back up. And actually, matter of fact, as I'm looking over here, now we're kind of breaking the long-term trend of price. Price is kind of just popping back up. So is this all she wrote? Is this the morning dive? And then we're going to try to rally it again? Maybe. And if that's the case, that's great for us. It's great for us in a sense that we did not get triggered into a false bottom, right? That's the beauty of this setup. I love the fact that the setup kind of looks for continuity and has you commit to a trade only when continuity seems reasonable. The key thing here is being reasonable, right? So no continuity. We're back up above the 200 on the S&P, and NAS looks like it's kind of starting to race back up. Is the first what time is it? I took my watch off, so now I can't tell. 9:39. First 10 minutes, a little bit of chop. First half hour, it looks like we're maybe just consolidating on a lot of different places. By the way, Dow considerably better. Dow is really popping back up. Dow is really establishing itself above the long-term average. So if we get a Dow, buy sell, buy label, sell label, that's going to be an interesting trade for us as a possibility. Okay, here's the S&P. Yeah, we kind of we recovered right back. So we had a shallow test of the sellers, and the buyers very much still in control of the trade. Unstoppable degenerates. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I keep trying to tell Kay that degenerate will be better, but she's refusing. Although, honestly, listen, unstoppable is really good. I like the idea. It definitely creates the ethos of what we do, which is we're willing to fight until we make profit. In other words, we're willing to learn and trade the market until we conquer it, which is what we try to do here every day. So flush down, flush up, not much directionality. Um, you know, I have to just stay patient here on all these moves. You know, the other thing is, and do not. It's easy to fall for. I sometimes fall for this. For this trap. Part of pattern reading is that everything looks much clearer in the rear view mirror. It looks really, really clear in the rear view mirror, right? And so a lot of times you'll be like, oh, well, this is obvious. This was above the trend. This was a sell label, an above trend, and this was a reversal of the sell label. We should have just simply gone here. And of course, after you've had 5 or 6 forward, really, really strong forward bars that kind of reconfigured the whole paradigm of the moving averages, it looks like, oh, we could have gone long here because it was above trend. But of course, that wasn't in the moment. And that's the thing you have to understand, that any type of a delayed indicator, moving out, every indicator is kind of delayed because it's not, it's integrating past price action, which means that it's naturally deforming itself. It's naturally changing how it looks in the future because the past weighs on its parameters. So you have to be a lot more skeptical of reading the past. You have to have really clean, clear, indicators, like something like this, where you've been trading quite a long time, not minutes, but like, tens of minutes, 20 minutes above, really gives you a much cleaner, accurate, vision of how you could have traded this in real time and succeeded, right? Here, there's absolutely no argument that, buying the greens would have made you money on a continuous basis. So just important not to fall into the trap of like, oh, I missed this trade. No, you didn't miss this trade. The trade wasn't really there in real time charts. And now we're dicking around, going right back down. Now you notice that the good thing with me having implemented this version of this indicator is that I'm not chasing. Many times in the past, I would have been a buyer here, seller here, or buyer here getting stopped out, seller here getting stopped out. I would have been just twiddling my thumbs, chasing price because I wanted to make trades, and I'm not, because there's really no trades to be made. The market hasn't really shown its hand yet. It's not very, very clear what we're looking at. It does look like in the near term structure, the bias seems to be to the downside. We're making lower lows. We're underneath the 200, right? So all of that does create. And again, here's the other thing I was going to tell you. Yes, you could look at this and say, okay, this was a sell, this was a green, this was a sell. You should have shorted here, right? Very, very, very hard to say in real time, because in real time it was above the the black line. What you want is a lot cleaner, clear signals. This could have been a trade if I was super, super fast and anticipatory in my views, but I'm certainly not going to kill myself over the fact that I missed this, because in real time it was up here and then suddenly it changed so fast that you were negative bid. What you want is more close, persistent, clean signals. And so far we're just not getting them, so it's okay. Yeah, gold actually is playing out nicely. I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention to gold. You guys are right. So the one trade that is legitimately good trade, it would have been a legitimately good trade. Gold was a sell here. I think it's because it was 9:15 and I wasn't paying attention. So this was a sell trade. This entering over here would have been a nice clean entry for us. We could have had a really good trade. Okay, so you're absolutely right. The gold is the one trade that we did not take today. That was kind of legitimate. But let's see what the market brings to us. Yeah, hindsight is 20/20. Usually choppy before FOMC. Yeah. I am, kind of tempted. I mean, this isn't a clean, clear trade, but now that we're talking about all of this, See, this is how much we have? 38 seconds left. We kind of have a sell above the market green move. I probably will take this S&P here if it holds in the green zone. Although it's really really choppy, not a perfect trade, and it's really got to hold the green zone. So far it hasn't cleared the SMA. So 13, 14 seconds. It's really really problematic here. Let's see if it does. 10, 8025, 7. I'm really not going to move on this thing until and unless 2. Okay, let's see if I can get it. Too late. Sorry, I killed it. Too late. I should have hit it market, but let me see. All right. I forced the trade here. Probably not a great trade, but I bought it market here because it slipped below 803.50. Let's see if this trade is going to do anything for us. Not by any means, my kind of a perfect trade, but I'm just bored, and we don't have any trades here. So on the other hand, we're clearly showing a clean sell signal on the we were showing it. Yeah, everything is changing in real time. Nobody wants to commit to one side or the other. So I'm at 803.25. No, 803.50. So I got lucky on this. It was partly luck, partly my own judgment on the trade, which kind of gets there. When you've had a little bit of experience. But as I said, what informed my opinion? Why did I decide? Okay, I'm going to try and take this small clip over here. First of all, the first and foremost thing, price is above the long-term moving average. So I'm already happy to be long above the moving average because there is clearly consensus that we're going in an uptrend, right? Secondly, we have this sell-off, a red zone, and a green zone, and we always want. The whole point is the underlying function of how I trade and how I think everybody should be trading is you want to be buying them when they're green, and you want to be selling them when they're red. Meaning that you want to be buying them when they're buying them, you want to be selling them when they're selling them. There are ways to do a mean reversion, but those are much harder and much less accurate in many ways. So our foundational thesis is, if they're green, they're going to go higher. If they're red, they're going to go lower, meaning that we believe in continuation, right? And continuation, not long periods of continuation, but small enough continuation that we can profit from it. I mean, that really, in essence, scalping is all about saying, I have a 90% confidence that there'll be some small continuation, there'll be X amount of continuation off this pattern, and I'll be able to capture that X amount of pips. So to translate my setup in kind of mathematical terms, I have 90% confidence that there'll be 1 point of continuation if this pattern sets up in this particular manner, or there'll be 5 points of continuation in NASDAQ. Somebody asked me yesterday, how do I construct my stops and targets? And my answer was, we're looking, by the way, Dow, so we can. Let me hang on a second. I'm going to change NASDAQ over here. No, wrong. I'm just doing off-screen adjustments. Just bear a second with me. NASDAQ, and we want to go to gold. Gold over here, so I can keep an eye on gold. So NASDAQ is still kind of in a sell mode, but the reason why I was picking the Dow is because we may have a trade in the Dow, right? So Dow is, buy to the long term. We have a buy label, so a red green pattern would put us into a buy pattern in the Dow. So we'll watch that. But people were asking me yesterday, how do I construct my stops and targets? And my answer was, everybody usually always goes, how much can I lose? That's going to be, I start with a stop, and then I don't know what my target is, or where I figure out my target. And I'm always doing it the opposite way. I always think the real question you want to ask yourself is, how much can I make within this? What's the likeliest amount of money I can make in this scenario? What's the highest probability that I can make? And obviously that obviously means very little, right? Because the more you can make, the lower the probability. That's just the nature of the beat. By the way, so just to let those people who are watching, we have a buy label, we have a red zone, and if the price comes into the green zone, we're going to be buyers of the Dow here. Okay, just kind of letting you know on the setup here. I'm watching NASDAQ off screen, gold off screen. Those are not doing anything. Somebody had asked me, I bought this without having a buy label. Remember, a sell label above the moving average is the same thing as a buy label. Okay, a sell label that then goes green is the same thing as a buy label. So that's kind of why I bought it. So I was just operating on that basis. But yeah, this was a cowboy trade. This was not a rules-based trade. It was a rules-adjacent trade. It was a rules-adjacent trade for me. So people are always asking, how do you set stop and target? And I say, I set targets. I set targets that have the highest probability of success, and then I work backwards and try to figure out how much of a stop do I need in order to ensure that the target is met. And then I work around a strategy where, and it's always going to be negative risk reward. How can I ensure that that in the long run I can whatever losses I have, I can absorb in my profits. Oh, sorry, and I'm talking, buy market. All right, long Dow target is going to be 520, 500 is the stop. And we're done. So again, you notice me, just sorry, you guys know I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I got to focus. BFF, be fucking focused. So I did focus on this. I commented on exactly what I'm going to do, and I did it, which is buy label, red, green. We want, this candle closes. I went long 5 points. Now, as I said, Dow is a 5-point trade, very, very small trade. You're not going to get much out of it, but it's a great practice trade. It's a great practice, and it's also. And let me take it back. It's a small trade for $250,000 account. It's a great trade for $25,000 account or $50,000 account. You only need to make $1,500 for $25,000 account to be funded. Dow, you can do 10 of those a day. What is that? 1,500 divided by 25, 60 trades. You can do that in a week. You could probably just trade the Dow single contract for a week and get funded on a $25,000 account and never come close to losing your account, because your maximum loss is 75 and you have $1,500 worth of drawdown on the Dow. So yeah, I take it back. It's not that it's kind of useless for a large account. It's great for showing trades, but very, very functional for smaller accounts. Nice clean trade. What do you guys think? Gold going green. Gold is not doing anything. Gold right now doesn't have any setup for me. The gold is, if you want to look at gold right now for a second, gold is negative sell, meaning it's underneath the 200 move. It had one sell signal that worked. Now it's doing nothing. There's no sell. We don't need a sell can sell signal. We need a second move here. Now we need all that stuff to vibe ourselves out. Now Dow is actually the strongest trade of the day. It's up 38 basis points. You can see it. NASDAQ is lagging. NASDAQ is the weakest, right? So one of the more interesting things is you can really see which instrument is stronger by seeing all the scalp signals we're getting. So now I'm actually, so this is it. You could make one more Dow trade, but if you look back, and this is the other beautiful thing about the indicator, you can see the history. You had like 5, buy labels here. That's a lot. It's a lot. 3 is maximum for me. 3 to 4 is maximum. I took this one because this was dipped below. It came back, kind of a pause that refreshes. Now, maybe this buy label will work. Maybe this buy label, but it's toppy. There's no reason for me to take the trade. I want to take the first 3 quality buy signals in an uptrend, right? These are already like 5th or 6th. It may go 7 or 8. Good for it. Let it go. I'll focus on other instruments. I'll focus on other things that can, that will create a little bit better opportunities for me to trade. NASDAQ not showing me any signals, by the way, at all. So, we're just waiting around, kind of getting around. How many wins? I've had 3 wins, 0 losses so far. All wins so far. Mainly, because I'm just being very, very relatively clean in my pickups. Somebody had asked for great trading books, and I posted the link here, guys. There's let me find it. I wonder if I could repost this. Copy link address. I wonder if I could do this again. Let me see if I can do this again in the chat room, because these are sort of my favorite. I wonder if if this is going to work. Nope, it's not going to work. Oh wow, Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on a second. All right, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try and do this off screen here and see if I can get you the link. John is recommending. Okay. Oh, so gold. Let's look at gold. Gold is actually sending me a second sell signal. Right. Let's go to look at gold. So gold is actually a potential setup for us now. Right. Here's gold. We wanted to trade gold a little bit today. Let's see what we can do with gold. So gold is a sell signal, right? Which means now we're looking for a red green, right? Excuse me, green red, green red, green red. We're looking for a move into the green zone and then a red zone. Now I fucking hate gold. Everybody knows this. It's my worst trade. Yes, yesterday was just I had to spend 2 hours repairing the losses in gold before I could get positive on my whole account. So take it with a grain of salt. But we're going to take the setup because I want to show you the legitimate clean setup on this thing. In the meantime, let me find you this link. It's really cool. All right, I'm just doing this off screen, so just bear with me a sec here, guys. All right, cool. Let me know if you guys if this link actually works. It should be a PDF download. This is a PDF download of PDF download of the 10 best books that I consider have ever been written. All right, we're watching gold goes green. I'm watching NASDAQ out of the corner of my eye here also, and I'm watching the Dow just for fun. Okay. Dow still in the second buy label. Gold goes green. Gold does look a little, I'll be honest with you, gold definitely looks a little tired. It's not, it looks tired, but not really beaten. They took it down 2,600. That's not exactly a massive correction in gold. NASDAQ crawling above the 200 period SMA off charts right now as I'm watching it. Let's see what gold wants to do. Slow markets, really, really slow markets. What's on the calendar today? Anything on the calendar that's worthwhile? By the way, were you guys able to download the PDF? So inventories are down, sales are down. Minutes coming out at 1,400. blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows that. Not much, really. See, like this is I'm looking at this inventory to sales ratio. When you're looking at that, you really can't say, oh, it's a booming economy. It's actually, flat to mildly negative. It really feels like we're topping out on the economy. But what do I know? I just day trade. I did write a book, guys. I wrote a couple of books. Um, you can look it up. It's on Amazon. But it was a really long time ago. I'm not in the writing book business anymore. I'm just in the trading business. I'm not in the writing book business. Okay, so here we go. This is interesting. So gold goes buy label. A couple of interesting things, by the way, happening here right now. Gold goes buy label, right? So now, but gold is buy label against a negative trend. Again, still in a downtrend. So now, if we get a green red, I want to short the red because a red off of a buy label underneath here. That's kind of the same thing as a sell. It's like adding two negative numbers or subtracting a negative number is like adding it, multiplying two negative numbers becomes a positive. Same idea. A sell off of a buy in a downtrend is a sell. S&P is buy label, which now sets us up. It's by the way, very tight. Look at this, 800 to 804. It's really, really tight range. Nothing's going on over here. But within that range, possibly we have maybe a probe to the upside, maybe exploring a little bit higher. So now if we go, buy label, red zone, green zone, we have a setup here. So let's see what happens. The important thing that I hope you guys are appreciating, and I'm reading this book right now about sort of molecular biology and kind of how we became who we are from the smallest, most primitive unicellular organisms. All about how basically evolution and biology creates stimulus response, information, stimulus response, and higher level information creates higher level interpretation and then responses. By the way, while I'm bullshitting here, hang on a second. We have a sell signal in gold. So we're gonna look at this. 28 seconds left. It's got to stay in the red zone. But if that does stay in the red zone, we are going to trade this miserable product and see if it works for us. But it's got to hold. If it doesn't hold a red, it's not a trade. All right. Short this. Short, and I'm targeting 27.2. I guess I'm in at 27.7. Okay. Thank you, gold. Gold is done. $50 on gold. another trade where what did I do? I BFF'd it. But I lost my trade. Oh, I'm riffing about philosophy of molecular biology. And by the way, when I'm just watching the Dow, right? Just kind of give you an idea. The Dow has a setup. You could take this setup, but I'm not. I'm not taking this setup because I'm looking at context. And context tells me this is the fourth or the fifth buy label. Will it work? Probably. It probably will work. It doesn't even hold green. So see how it still doesn't really work on the structure yet. But it's too much. I'm interpreting information. This is what I was. My whole riffing is about how successful organisms interpret the information in the best possible manner and adapt themselves to the environment to succeed. Literally a description of what trading is all about from a biological sense. And I'm just interpreting this, hopefully in the best possible manner, trying to extract signal from noise, respond to it, and then proceed. Right. So for a biological organism, that response is food. You're looking for the least amount of risk to get the most amount of food in the fastest amount of time. That's the whole imperative of everything that we do in life. In trading, it's the least amount of risk to get the most amount of profit in the shortest amount of time. So that's what we're trying to do. So I'm just kind of watching it. So buy labels in both S&P and NAS. We're starting to break out. Remember I said we kind of broke out this 804 range. Good for us. We can now see if we can get a follow-on trade that hopefully works. Gold trades at 5 ticks, 15 ticks. So it was a 5 tick profit. You saw me. The automatic stops and targets were all set up there. So it was all done. First half hour of the day kind of passed, or first 40 minutes, looking like we're starting to to bring up now. Here's the Dow. So we fuck around with a Dow. I was like I snoozed, I lose. You could have, as I said to you, you could have taken this Dow, even though contextually it was a little bit too dangerous to take it. But after this big break to the upside, I was like, oh, there's probably going to be continuity in the Dow. You could have taken this. So you have to adjust your information based upon the latest moves. But if you're just trading rules, no need to get creative. The best way to kind of trade all of this, in my opinion, is to focus only on one or two instruments. So I'm doing kind of the worst of all worlds because I want to give you guys as many examples of successful trades, or at least examples of trade setups as possible, so that you can it's like watching a guy hit forehands. The more forehands you see him hit, the easier it is to kind of understand the mechanics of what he's doing, and then you can replicate the mechanics yourselves. That's the whole idea. The whole idea is not me. I know how, if I'm trading quietly by myself, I can do a good job. It's to teach you guys how to trade quietly by yourself so you can do a good job. That works. All right, now we're in the red zone. Now this is what's interesting. You see how choppy it is? So we have we have the red zone, but the NASDAQ is flirting with a negative trend here. So Dow is a little bit, S&P is a little bit above negative trend, but now they had a deep correction off this. We kind of tested the rate, the highs of the range came right off it. What does it mean? It means nothing. It means we tested, the ranges. Oh, the NASDAQ is moving green. So let's watch NASDAQ. 9 seconds left. This has got to hold in order for me to have it happen. Okay. I'm long NASDAQ, 91.50 is my target, and I'm done. Okay. Again, I'm watching, right? I was watching. And I'm sorry, you saw me watching NASDAQ. There was the same trade in the S&P. I couldn't have done both. That's the one drawback of the fast scalp trade. You can't do both at the same time. But look at this move. Holy shit. What was that? What happened here? Somebody talking about it? Probably looks like somebody's talking. But it was a nice, clean move, right? So another trade. This is $100. So people are asking me, what's the best instrument to trade for this particular setup? And there are two answers to this. If you want the highest probability with the lowest amount of stress, you will always have stress, but the lowest amount of stress and the highest probability of making take profit, it would have to be the S&P with a one target, right? If you want the biggest profit potential, it would be NASDAQ. Because you see, NASDAQ made $100 in less than 10 seconds, which is like the perfect trade that you want. Do 5 or 6 of those during the day, you're doing great. But as I said to you, you don't even have to do those. You can kind of say, I'm only going to do 3 quality trades today. And if you do that, at three contracts of NASDAQ, which you could have easily done, you're up $1,000 in a matter of an hour and a half of trading. Very much up to you with how you want to trade all of this, but it gives you lots and lots of flexibility. I'm not trading labels, correct? We have I'm trading a whole new setup. If you haven't been with me for a couple of days, we've changed the setup. Watch the prior lives. The setup now is the label is the setup trade, and the next green zone to the upside is the trigger trade, or the red zone is the sell trade. That makes it a lot easier to construct the trades. So slowly moving around, and popping up and down. But I hope you guys sort of get the idea of the indicator is your information conduit, right? It goes out there, it analyzes what the lay of the land is. I'm going to be hung up on these biological analogies forever, because it's just like once you start reading everything, you begin to understand that you're just nothing but a little organism within an environment trying to optimize your food intake, which is really what we all are. And substitute the word money or substitute the word profit for food, and it's really the function of life of everybody. So the indicator there is kind of like your informational probe. The guy was using a really interesting analogy. He was talking about the difference between a thermostat and a thermometer, right? A thermostat actually responds to the stimuli in the environment. It goes up and down depending on how the temperature gauges and so forth. But a thermometer's only function is to represent the information, and then you can create action off that representation. So an indicator is kind of like a thermometer. Its function is not to make you money. Its function is to represent the reality, and then it's your job to understand that reality and make more informed decisions. So hopefully the scalper gives you much better chance to make more informed decisions. But that is what it is. A lot of people kind of misinterpret the idea of it's supposed to make me money on every trade, or every 9 out of 10 trades is going to be a proper money making opportunity. No, its function is to give you information. It's like a thermometer, so that you can interpret that information properly. And it's obviously doing the best possible job. What it's telling you is, in this particular situation, the conditions seem ripe for a possible buy trade, or in this particular situation, the conditions seem ripe for a possible sell trade. But it's just a representation of the reality. It's not a absolute forecast of the reality, right? Just like temperature can change very quickly, so can conditions in the market. So you just need to be aware of it. I thought it was a really interesting analogy to think of indicators as thermometers, because that is their true function. That's the guy was talking about how on the lower level organisms, we just respond to stimuli. You look at dogs, they just respond instinctually, but human beings have the capacity to represent reality abstractly, analyze it, and then act within the real space in response to that. Presumably, that's what makes us more advanced species, but God knows we all screw it up. Also, by the way, super interesting is from a psychological point of view. Apparently, there are within your whole neural structure, there are neurons whose only function is to dampen response, and there are neurons whose only function is to amplify the response, right? And so, like, I have to listen more to the whole part of that structure, but it sounded like it's really fascinating. It sounds like basically when we get stopped out, right, and we start going on tilt because oh fuck, I lost money, now I got to go make money back right away, right away, right away. It's actually those neurons that are amplifying the danger response, right? Because losing money, it's like losing food, losing life, losing this. That's what we associate it with, right? Whether we like it or not, that's the bottom line psychological aspect of how all of us act as biological organisms. And so it's almost inevitable that you're going to go on tilt if you allow that neuron to amplify the danger response, right? When they talk about discipline, what they're really talking about is kind of a learned behavior to quell the natural impulse biologically that is producing in you. And the only way you can do that, by the way, this is the other thing they talk about, is as human beings, we have the potential to actually learn behavior from past patterns. And if you sort of program yourself to say, okay, I've seen this pattern before, I've seen this pattern before, I've seen this pattern before, I can, I don't need to panic. I can just wait for the next setup. I can wait for the next structure. You have a better chance of not going on tilt, right? So what's going on in the markets right now, kind of to review, we have a second buy label that's looking for a red-green zone in NASDAQ. We have a first buy label that resolved positively that we just did not take because we were busy on NASDAQ. We took that trade. And now we're just, now we're waiting to see what happens next. What's the title of the book? It's called, good question. What's the title of the book? Free Agents. It's really fascinating because the guy basically talks about how we actually do have free will, is that nobody understands. There's a very, very popular theory in modern science, which is, as all of modern science is, just full of shit, which talks about the idea that everything is determined, that we're just nothing more but an amalgam of our genes, and that everything we do is pre-programmed. There's nothing we can do to change our life. And this guy is a really advanced molecular biologist, and he basically says it's so bullshit. It's completely not how we operate in the real world. That all of us have agency. All of us have a choice of response to stimuli. Once you understand that, and not only do we have a choice of response to stimuli, we also have a whole history of responses within our own DNA, much less within our own memory, as to how we would respond to certain parameters. And the ability to learn to respond to those parameters is also very much a function of our life. So, like, we have far more free choice than we think we do. It's just that most people, aren't fully cognizant of it. But it's really, really fascinating. So it's called Free Agents. I'll find the link here. Let me see if I can find the link on Amazon, and I will post it. But I will warn you that it is not, you got to really like science too. It's not, it doesn't have a lot of jargon, but it is, you got to listen to this thing very carefully to kind of absorb. See, I'm going to post the link in the room here, guys. So, oh shit, sorry. I always forget this because it's the long link. Where's the share link? Oh, fuck. Where's the share link? Oh, here it is. Sorry. Copy link. Really popping, man. I just don't have any setups, so we'll have to let it be. Wow, really, really big, strong move through this thing. S&P just goes through the to the 810s level. Still doesn't have a buy label for us, So not much, not much. But we have a nice continuity slice on both indices right now, right? Which, by the way, so this is like the last kind of thing I wanted to share with you guys today. We talked about this in my coaching yesterday. It was kind of interesting. So there are many of you. Let's do another poll. So degenerate barely scratches out unstoppable. All right, I will let Kathy know. Let's do another poll, which is more interesting. What I want to know is, I'm not even going to ask scalp swing. I want to say 5 or less. What I want to do is I want to find out how many of you prefer scalping or swinging. 5, 3, 5, 10 or more. I prefer to make trades per day. Okay, here's the question. Answer this to me in a poll because I'm fascinated. Sorry. Watch it. It's a very, very big ass move in NASDAQ, right? So here's why I'm a little bit leery of this trade here. Although I probably could trade it. What is this? This is 8 to 26. So 20 point candle. Here's why I'm not going to take this trade. I'm going to use my past history, my informed knowledge, and whether it works or not is not the question. The question is, do I have a 90% of confidence that this is going to be a good trade? And the answer is no. Not because I don't think it might work, but because the actual move of the candle, right? Fucking works as usual. I should have taken this trade, but it's okay. The actual length of the candle is like 20 points. My stop is 15. And my rule of thumb is if the candle itself is larger than my stop area, although this totally would have worked, I generally want to stay away from that because I have the worst kind of a situation where it could retrace to the downside and then, in other words, stop me out and then go to target. And I just didn't want to take that risk. But it would have worked okay here. It would have worked okay. I just hesitated for a second. And if you hesitate for a second, then don't chase it. If you're not 100% confident on the buy trigger, just don't do it. There's plenty of other trades, to go on. And here it did do it when 24 down to basically like 31. So it would have made the 5 points, but you can see it's kind of already, curling back down. So, the move over here is a little exhaustive. Anyways, the question I have for you is, for this is to kind of understand how many of you like scalping, which is what I'm doing, which is where I'm doing, 10 or more trades per day, versus doing swing trades. Because if you want to do swing trades, you can use the scalper probably 2 times a day per instrument. So it's already, you can create 5 trades if you wanted to. But we're going to use NASDAQ as an example of what I have in mind and how you can absolutely use scalper to find interesting creative signals. And so the first creative signal usually happens, let's say after 10 o'clock, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. It's the first, what I call, strong impulse of the day in the marketplace. And that can be garnered by, just the moving averages crossing over to each other, but it can be confirmed and amplified by a couple of buy labels. You have a couple of buy labels. It's holding this. I could go long here, 301. My stop would be somewhere around maybe 30 points underneath here, like basically right underneath the moving average. So I have lots of space. And then I could try to trade for just one trade of 30 points. It's an even money trade, 30-30. And you can see here, totally worked, would have totally worked, right? So the first kind of impulse move of the day during pit trading hours, generally not a bad trade. I'm going to go back to yesterday to kind of show you, where everything worked around. And we don't have, I have to hit the replay button. Okay. So, similar idea here. You have a kind of, you have 2 buy labels. This is quite high over here. It's 155 against, it's actually 50 points. It's a much larger risk here. But if you put yourself like 50-50, which is what the maximum I would do here, and you went long here, right, on this trade, it certainly gave you 50 points, gave you more than 50 points of extension. So you have that first move. The second move of the day, I have to show you from yesterday's price action, which is kind of interesting, is around, do we have a change of trend here around after 12 noon New York? 12 noon New York is when, let me stop this right now. 12 noon New York is when Europe ends, right? And when Europe ends, you very often have a change of trend in the equity markets as money comes out and maybe some profit taking comes in and stuff like that. So in this particular case, you do have it, and you could use, I was saying you can use 2 buy labels, but what I like to use is actually just two red zones. If I have 2 red zones underneath here, I'm relatively confident that maybe this is a sell-off point. I actually think yesterday was a false signal, but so it's 91. I'm going to go 30 points above here, right? Let's say 230, 40 points with a 40-point target. And I'm not sure what happened yesterday. I think it actually came back up, and the sell-off was very shallow. So it didn't work on this particular time frame, from $1,300. But here's where it gets interesting. You get one more chance into the close of the day, which is 1,400 hours into the close of the day. And here again, you could use the same ideas of double greens or double labels. So I have two green zones. Price holds above here. I'm going to go another 30 over here, and you can see over here that after just hesitating for a little bit, it easily makes the other 30. So you had three trades during the day in NASDAQ. One of them didn't work. 2 of them worked. Even money trades, meaning they were even money trades. So that means you were net one, net positive one on the trade. So it's totally viable to kind of do this if you want to trade just bigger ideas, right? On this thing. So, do we have I was looking to see what was happening here. Oh, look at this. YM has a scalp sell. Interesting. So the Dow has turned down. Okay, now this is interesting. Because it's a small risk and because we haven't done a trade in like the last 10-15 minutes, I absolutely will look at this. Now, remember, a sell that goes green is a buy. So if we go into the green zone on the YM, I'm going to set myself up on the YM. I'll trade this for 5 points. I'll see if it gives me a pop. Still not a super great trade because you've already had a huge move up. But if this turns back into the green zone, I'll be a buyer. Let me see what's going on over here. In the meantime, so 58 seconds. This is just kind of running away from us, not giving us the buy sell sequence, and that sometimes happens. And we just have to be patient. The market kind of gets ahead of itself, and we're not getting the signals that we need to make it happen. So right now, honestly, as I'm looking through everything else here, NASDAQ is well up. I hesitated on that big trade on NASDAQ, and it would have paid off. It would have been another winning trade for us, but we've already had a lot of winning trades today. So I'm just trying to find one that's within our reasonable parameters. So it looks like, as I'm looking at the poll here, by the way, guys, please everybody vote. I'd love to see votes here in the poll. So I'm looking at the poll. It looks like fully half the room would really like the idea of doing a longer term directional trade. So I'll be happy to point that out to you guys in maybe tomorrow's. Well, tomorrow is going to be CPI Lab. We'll have to see if we can get that. But definitely in next week's lives, I'll start pointing out what are the possible swing trade constructs between that 9:30 to 10:30 hour when we're starting to build a move. Because I know a lot of you just simply may like to take the that one single trade and make it happen. James says he likes to scalp. Me too, my friend. I like to scalp. Dow going down. And by the way, again, this is what I love about my indicator. So the thermometer is not telling you green, right? It's not like it's giving you good information. So you're not acting on bad information. You're not just hoping, to buy a bottom, stuff like that, right? Kind of interesting. NASDAQ goes 3 buys, which is already kind of a little bit excessive. So I'm not going to be chasing NASDAQ on my 3rd buy. But NASDAQ really flipped around very impressively. If you look at NASDAQ over here, look at that NASDAQ. As I said, I hesitated only because this was just such a large candle on the move. Should have taken this, but that would have been another good NASDAQ trade for us. So 2 quality NASDAQ trades here, inefficient. Finally, getting a buy label in the S&P. That's not a trade for us, but that is. We're not even getting it. I was going to say, but that is a setup signal. Sorry, this is the S&P. I want to go to. I'm watching the Dow because I'm just watching to see if I get a green zone out of the Dow here. Okay, NASDAQ goes scalp buy. The other thing, by the way, what I like about the system that I have it now is you get the alert. You don't have to jump on the alert. The alert just pre-prepares you for a possible trade setup. So now you can really, you go from non-focus to focus. Like alert puts you into focus mode, right? Puts you into BFF mode. And then you can kind of, watch it carefully and see how it develops. Okay, I have a possible, not yet a green. I'll go with that. I'm trading right now just one contract. As I said, there's lots of different ways to trade the strategy. I'm trading one contract because I'm doing lots and lots of different trades, especially during live. But as I said, if you wanted to do a focused structure, you can do 5 contracts on the S&P, $250 per trade, $750 for the day, and you're done. You're done. You're done for the day, and you're ready to. Or you can even do 3 contracts on NASDAQ. That's $900 a day, and you're done, nice and clean. I'm just doing NASDAQ, S&P, Dow, gold. So I'm keeping my size very small so that during live I show you lots of different trade setups so you can see them happening in real time. Oh, hey guys, look at this. Speaking of this, without me even realizing, I totally forgot. Look at that, was kind of stupid, but it actually worked. I didn't realize I was 3 contracts. So this was actually made 75 on the. See, this was 3 contracts on this because I was in repair trade mode in the Dow. So I should actually modify myself down to 1. All right. What's interesting now for us is we're red zone after buy label S&P 500. So let's see what happens next. We can just focus on the S&P 500. Let's look at this structure here. Very slow. Wow. I mean, what happened? Did we just die? Did my quotes stop working? Really, really slow. Looks like the market really exhausted itself. They lifted it hard, and then it kind of exhausted itself. Still green. You see, by the way, you notice how I wait because the market is very good at faking you out and making you think it wants to do one thing, getting you to commit. Because remember, the other thing is, I don't mean this in a bad way. It's going to sound like it's in a bad way, but it's just a game. It's just a game, how the game is played. But in a competitive environment where everybody's trying to take away, look at this. Now we have a big move on the move. The market is going to try to fake you out because they want you to commit the wrong way so they can take away your P&L. 16, 17 seconds left here. Okay, let's see if this green candle holds. 10 seconds left. I'm not sure. I'm in trade. Target is 12. I'm in at 11. Target is 12. See if I can make 12. By the way, just kind of like for those of you who are looking at the YM, that was we could have taken this trade. I just focusing on one trade at a time. But the YM sell of it, you bought it at 72, easily made the 5 points here to the upside. YM was actually a very, very clean buy over here on the move here. The S&P on the other hand, definitely not working right now against me, and it may not be. The trade may not work. One of the reasons why, and I was thinking in the back of my mind, but I didn't want to pull away from the trade because it really was a setup. Was you had a very large move already to the upside, right? So this is one of those cases where you're probably right on the direction, but maybe wrong on the trade because it needs more sell-off or it needs more retracement before it kind of resumes its upward trend. But we'll see. We're in trade. We'll see how it plays out. Let's see if there's any kind of juice on the move here. But we had 6 winners already so far, so this would be, if this doesn't work, it'll be the first loss, which is more than good enough for our positive ratio. Okay. I took the trade at 3/4 of a point. It actually went to 12 because, you saw it was a little bit weak. And that point, 3/4 of a loaf is better than one. It's fine. I just wanted to make sure that we had a good trading session here. And as you can see, we've had a good trading session here. Literally every trade worked here. 1, 2, 3 on S&P. 1 on gold, right? That's 4. 2 on Dow. Was it 2 or 1? No, 1 on Dow. That's 5. So is that it? It's 5 trades. Gold, Dow, S&P, NASDAQ. And NASDAQ. Yeah, I forgot NASDAQ. 6. NASDAQ was 6. So 6 winning trades. 6 for 6 today. So not bad, guys, right? And as I said, think about the, what I call I don't want to say the once a day trade. It's kind of like, I don't even know. We need a better term for this thing. What we call the swing trade. The swing trade in indices will begin somewhere around 9:45, 10 o'clock. So if there's a move in the market, it'll be from 10 to 12, right? There'll be possibly a counter move from 12 to 2 o'clock, and there'll possibly be a third move from 2 o'clock to the close. Those are the big moves, the big move trade. And the thing about this is, it's that's definitely an art, not a science, because it doesn't always instantiate at that particular time. But what you can do is, the pattern of when it does, what it will look like when it's starting to develop. And once you have that pattern, so you have the two green, you see the two green, green moves above the long-term SMA here. You have to come in, probably first green, second green. I guess second green would be over here with a 30-point stop, and you would have had a nice move in the NASDAQ today. And then we can watch this. We can see if after 10 o'clock we may it may kind of retrace below the moving average, and then have a corrective move, and then we'll have to see if it has another move to the upside, or maybe it will just extend the corrective move on the other side. So enjoy that particular setup, because it's a good one for people who just want to do 1 or 2 trades a day. But for us, we did 6 trades today, all winners, scalping rules. Hope you guys really, really liked it. Tomorrow, I trade CPI with Kathy, and I'm going to try and configure my Think Markets account so that we can try to trade some CFDs. So we'll have a little bit of fun with CFDs. But in the meantime, everybody, let me leave you with links. So here is the link to Think Markets if you want to trade CFDs. Here's the link to Apex if you want to get massive discounts with them, because they are awesome. And lastly, here's the link to me if you want to get the indicator and come join us and have fun. Okay? Any questions? Anything else on your mind? Let me know. Okay? Let me see if everybody's good. We all good? Thank you very much. I'm gonna end the poll here. Looks like, yeah, like 40. It basically breaks 55-45. So the degens are in the minority, but it's a significant minority of degens. But everybody else is doing well. All right, sounds good. Thank you guys. Thanks for everything. Hope you had a good time. Hope you guys made some money today on all those trades. And I will see everybody tomorrow for the CPI. Everybody take care.